Hello and welcome to another TScore training video. In this session we're going to learn about direct form score recording. This is a feature that lets every form judge enter the deduction for each move in the routine directly into the scoring system using a tablet on their desk. So, why would you want to do this? Firstly, it's fast, accurate and convenient, as it avoids the need for the judges to do the often error-prone arithmetic needed to calculate scores from the deductions. Secondly, it lets the recorder or panel chair spot any obvious errors and correct them before the scores are committed. Next, it gives great output for post-event analysis, helping you identify any judges who may need advice or additional training to achieve the highest levels of consistency. And finally, it will enable the new median scoring schemes that are already used at FIG events and which are expected to become the norm for state and regional events in the next couple of years. So, let's see how this all works. This short sequence of diagrams shows the principles. We'll then take a look at TScore in action. We start off with the usual TScore setup, a master Postgres database typically running on a Windows laptop, usually with a copy of TScore for administration. It's worth noting, however, that the database can be run on a Linux computer if you need more than the 20 inbound network connections typically allowed by Windows 10. For example, you might be running a lot of panels with lots of judges. Then we have a laptop on each panel running TScore for the panel recorder, connected over the local area network to the database server. Now we have the new bit, an Android tablet running the TScore judge app for each form judge on the panel. These are very cheap devices. A 7-inch Amazon Fire tablet, for example, can be bought for as little as £30 or $40. There's a huge range of Android phones and tablets readily available to suit any budget. Each tablet connects the database server too, so if you have 4 or 5 panels, each with recorders and tablets, it's easy to see how the Windows connection limit may be exceeded. Let's see what happens when a new gymnast is starting their routine. The recorder selects the next entrant in TScore, confirms their name with the chair of the panel, and then clicks the Start Scoring button on the new TScore deduction screen. TScore then broadcasts details of the competitor over the network, and the tablets assigned to that panel then fetch and display the gymnast's details, ready to accept the judge's scores. Each tablet automatically confirms receipt of the message so that the recorder can see that they are all ready. If necessary, notifications can be retransmitted or the judge can manually refresh the app. As the athlete performs, the judges write their deductions down as usual. Then, when the routine finishes, they simply copy each deduction into the app and then click Confirm. The app sends the deductions to the database, and TScore displays these provisional scores for the recorder to check. The recorder now adds additional scores for difficulty, time of flight, horizontal displacement, and any penalties before saving the confirmed results to the database. Okay, that's the theory. Now let's see what it actually looks like in practice. I'll show you a single panel demonstration rig to show how to connect the computers and tablets and record scores with the new feature. On the left is a database laptop, then we have a recorder's laptop and then 4 judges' tablets for the panel. As I mentioned earlier, running with a lot of tablets may mean you need to use a Linux server for your database. In this case I have a separate Linux computer running the database just to demonstrate it really isn't that different to run it on Windows. You see the familiar Postgres database admin screen here just looks identical. For those of you unfamiliar with Linux, it's a little bit trickier to set up and run than Windows, but with a little bit of googling and reading you shouldn't have too much trouble getting Postgres installed and running. Performance and reliability seem to be very good. This example is running the Mint flavour of Linux, which I found to be not too big a leap from my strongly Windows background. We do of course also need a network, and here's mine. It's a cheap but very effective wireless hub that I've been using for a couple of years now. I actually run a pair of these to extend the effective range if the computers are spread out in a big hall. Now we have the recorder's laptop for the panel. This is a fairly modest 7-year-old 15-inch Dell Inspiron laptop that does the job nicely. TScore is not a very demanding application and will run on very modest laptops without a problem. Finally, we have 4 Amazon Fire 7-inch tablets. You'll find it's really useful to have a simple stand for these. I've picked these ones up in IKEA and added some stick-on rubber feet to stop them sliding around. Bear in mind you will also need to provide power to the tablets if you want them to run an entire competition. You can get some 2 or 3 metre long USB power leads from eBay or Amazon to help here. You will need to install the TScore app on the tablets. You can download this from the TScore website, where there are instructions on how to get the app loaded and running. I do intend putting it on Google Play Store at some stage, but for now you can just install it manually. With so many devices now involved, you might imagine that getting them all connected to the right server and competition database is a bit onerous. However, TScore helps you here by providing a configuration screen that broadcasts the configuration to all tablets on the network. You will have to connect the tablets to your wireless network first, of course. Just do this through the Android settings screen as normal. Next, fire up the TScore app and pick the settings option. Now set the panel and judge number for each of the tablets and save the settings. Now, back in TScore, open the competition and pick Preferences. On the Judging Panel tab, tick the Direct Entry box for each of the panels where you will be using tablets. Also set the number of execution judges you will have for each panel. When you do this, you will see a red light for each of the tablets to be connected. Click the Connect button and TScore will broadcast the competition details to the app, changing the lights to amber as it does so. Each tablet will then respond with confirmation of its panel and judge number. As the responses are received, TScore will turn each light green. Now you're ready to start scoring. So, as usual, select the Score This Competition button and then choose the class that is about to compete. Select the first entrant and then click the Deductions button to show the new entry screen. Now pick the Start Scoring button and notice the lights for each judge turn to red, then to amber as each tablet receives the instructions and automatically loads up the current athlete details. When the routine is finished, each judge then enters the scores immediately by clicking the deduction for each move. As each value is entered, the boxes turn from green to blue. When they touch the Confirm button, the scores are sent to the database and the recorder sees the scores on their screen and the lights turn green. Notice that if the judge makes a mistake, they can replace any scores just by touching the incorrect deduction and clicking the correct number. Once all the scores are in, the recorder checks and saves the scores. In this case, however, the recorder has forgotten to set the HD score, so TScore reminds them to do this. They can now save the scores and move on to the next competitor. Notice how the tablets update with the current entrant's name and club as soon as the recorder clicks Start Scoring. Take another look at the deduction scoring so you can review the points noted on the first routine. When entering the end of routine deduction, different deduction values are presented according to the competition rules. If a judge forgets to confirm their scores, the app will flash the Confirm button after a few seconds to remind them. Once again, the recorder enters the HD scores, saves and continues to the next competitor. It isn't uncommon for the HD scores, difficulty and penalties to be known while the form judges are still entering their deductions. The recorder can fill these in while waiting for the judges. This all helps to speed up the scoring and recording process. Tablet entry has been used successfully at a number of BG events so far. Judges have adapted to the new method quickly, and we found our competitions had a faster turnaround and significantly fewer mistakes compared to traditional scoring and recording methods. In this final example, we will show how an interrupted routine is handled. The app shows a cumulative total as each deduction is entered. If a routine is interrupted, TScore will accept an incomplete set of deductions. Sometimes, of course, the interruption is not evident until after the judges have entered a full set of deductions. In these cases, the recorder can also set the number of moves to be counted after the deductions have been submitted, and TScore will adjust the scores accordingly. You may have noticed that TScore also displays the median execution score, calculated for the routine by taking the middle two deductions for each move across all the judges. The individual median deductions are highlighted in yellow. This is currently just shown for information. In a forthcoming version of TScore, you'll have the option to use this median deduction score instead of the current median judge score. So, that's the end of this session, which I hope you found useful. Enjoy trying out the new features, and please feedback any observations or suggestions to the Facebook TScore user group or via email.